You know that feeling, right? The world is always demanding more from us. More hustle, more perfection, more speed. But what if the real secret to a better life isn't about adding more at all? What if it's about embracing some small, ancient wisdom? Well, today, we're going to dive into some incredibly powerful Japanese habits that prove tiny changes can, and do, make a massive difference. I mean, just think about that for a second. We're so often completely overwhelmed by this pressure to make these huge, life-altering transformations. But what if that's not how it works? What if real, lasting change doesn't come from some massive leap, but from just a single, intentional step that you take over and over again?
So, let's explore that idea through 8 really powerful concepts that are deeply rooted in Japanese culture. And it's important to say this up front. These aren't just quick life hacks. They're actually profound philosophies for living that have stood the test of time, and honestly, they feel more relevant today than ever before.
The foundation for all of these habits really boils down to one powerful principle. True transformation isn't some loud explosion. Nope. It's a quiet, steady process. It's all about the incredible compounding power of the small, intentional actions you take every single day.
Think of it this way, okay? You are gently evolving into a better version of yourself, not staging some stressful overnight revolution. This is all about sustainable growth that feels natural, not forced.
So, where do we even begin with all this? Well, let's start by looking inward. We're going to look at 2 habits designed to help us reconnect with our own sense of purpose and with the natural world all around us.
First up is ikigai. This is such a profound concept. It's your reason for being. You know that thing that actually gets you out of bed in the morning, excited for the day? And it's not just about what you enjoy. It's this beautiful intersection of what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can be paid for. So finding your ikigai starts by exploring these 4 key areas. Ask yourself, what do I truly love doing? What am I genuinely good at? What does the world need from me? And finally, what can I actually be compensated for? That sweet spot, right where those 4 circles overlap, well, that's your purpose. That is your ikigai.
So from our inner world, let's connect to the outer world with something called Shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing. Now, this isn't about exercise or some grueling hike. It's the mindful act of simply being in nature. It's about absorbing the forest through all of your senses, the sound of the leaves, the smell of the earth, the feeling of the breeze. It's a scientifically backed way to lower your stress and just reboot your mind.
Okay, let's move on to our next section, which is, frankly, a powerful antidote to our modern obsession with perfection. We're going to look at 3 habits that teach us to embrace our flaws and find beauty in the incomplete.
At the very heart of this is wabi-sabi. This is a worldview that appreciates things that are imperfect, impermanent, and incomplete. It's about accepting the natural cycle of growth and decay and finding this incredible grace in the flaws that tell a story. I mean, this contrast really says it all, doesn't it? On one side, you have the stressful, anxious pursuit of perfection, and on the other, the calm, peaceful acceptance of wabi-sabi. It's a fundamental shift from trying to hide your flaws to actually celebrating them as a beautiful part of the story. And this philosophy shows up in some really beautiful practices. Take kintsugi, for example. It's the art of mending broken pottery with gold. The cracks aren't hidden, they're illuminated, making the piece even more beautiful because it was broken. This same idea applies to ourselves through ubai-tori, which reminds us not to compare. Just like different blossoms, we all have our own unique timeline to grow and bloom. Okay, so we've gone from the philosophical and now we're going to shift to the really practical. These next 3 habits help us create a sense of order and mindfulness in our daily lives, in our work, our finances, and even in how we eat. The first one is kaizen, or continuous improvement. This is not about making one massive change. It's all about the commitment to getting just 1% better every single day. Whether that's in your job, a hobby, or a personal goal, the focus is always on small, consistent steps forward. And the cycle itself is so beautifully simple to apply. First, you identify just one tiny area for improvement, like, say, tidying a single corner of your desk. Second, you make one small change. Third, you practice it consistently. And finally, you repeat. This simple loop is what builds incredible momentum over time. Now, we can apply that same principle of order to our finances with Kakeibo. And this is not just another budget app, okay? It's a mindful pen and paper journaling system designed to help you build a more conscious, intentional relationship with your money.
It's all built around these 4 simple questions at the start of each month. It forces you to be aware, to set goals, to track your spending, and most importantly, to reflect on how you can improve, which you'll probably notice is just Kaizen applied directly to your finances.
Our last habit in this section brings order to our physical well-being, Hara Hachi Bu. This Okinawan practice is beautifully simple. Just stop eating when you feel about 80% full. It's a really powerful practice in moderation and actually listening to your body's signals instead of just mindlessly eating until the plate is empty. So, wow, we have covered a lot of ground, from finding purpose to finding peace with imperfection. But the real question is, how do you actually start?
So let's bring them all together one last time. 8 powerful, yet really simple ideas, from finding your purpose with Ikigai to practicing mindful eating with Hara Hachi Bu. The key here is not to feel overwhelmed. You don't have to adopt all of them at once. Just remember the spirit of Kaizen. Start with one small change.
This really sums it all up, doesn't it? Real, lasting change isn't about the destination. It's about having the courage to take that first tiny step.
So I'm going to leave you with this question. Forget about mastering all 8. Just looking at this list, which single tiny habit speaks to you right now? Which one will you choose to start with today?